Next part is the effective stress and seepage analysis. The seepage means that the flow of water through the soil pores. So until now, when we saw the effective stress, we assumed that the water is in hydrostatic condition. It means that no flow of water is taking place. So now if we take that water is also flowing through the pores, which is usually the case in the case of groundwater, so water will be flowing. So what will be its effect on the effective stress of the soil, that we have to see now. So when the water is flowing, in that case the total energy head is given as datum head plus pressure head plus velocity head. In case of soils, we take that flow is laminar, and when flow is laminar, velocity of flow is very less, and so the velocity head is also very less compared to the other two. So the velocity has is assumed as 0. The total head remains the sum of datum head plus pressure head, and if there is some head loss is also taking place, then total head will be equal to datum head plus pressure head minus head loss up to that point. So let's understand it with this example. So the head loss in soil, when flow takes place through the soil, so head loss is there due to friction between soil particles and water. That is also known as viscous friction. So there will not be any head loss in when the it's just water, and all the head will be lost during the flow through the soil sample. So this part here is water, and this red one is soil, and the flow is taking place from this point to this datum point, which is the bottommost point. We are taking it here as datum. So flow is taking place from the top to the bottom. So what will be the total heads, and if head loss is also taking place, so what will be the head loss, that we have to see now. So let's see these points one by one. So at point A, total head is equal to pressure head plus datum head, but point A is in contact with the atmosphere, so pressure head here is 0, and datum head, so datum head is the height of that point from the datum, so datum head here is, that is AE. So AE is zero point 0.3 plus zero point 0.3, that is 0.6 meter, and pressure head is 0, so total head is 0.6 meter. And now at point B, so point B is still in water, so still no head loss will be taking place, and so point B pressure head will be the, if piezometer is inserted at this point, so the water will still rise up to the surface, so pressure head will be AB and datum head will be B to E, so AB plus BE, that is equal to AE, then that is 0.6 meter. So total head is still 0.6 meter, and at point C also similarly total head will be equal to zero point 0.6 meter. Now D is the midpoint of the soil sample, but before understanding D, let's first see F. So at point F, total head is equal to pressure head plus datum head. So pressure head, because the water is rising up to here, this datum surface, so this value is 0.1 meter. This is the pressure head, and datum head, this point F is below the datum and below 0.1 meter. So datum head is minus 0.1 meter. So total head here is 0. So what does it mean? That at point F, all the energy what was there in water, it has been lost. So when the water reaches at point F, it has no energy. And as I said, the head loss only takes place through the soil. It means that head loss will be taking place between point C and F. And now, how do we know how much head loss will be there at any point? So head loss is computed as proportional to the, I mean that if it is a point at z distance below, and this overall distance is h, so the head loss at this point will be z by h times the total head. So using this formula we can find out the head loss. And now let's consider the point D. Point D. So here let's see the what is the datum head. Datum head is DE. So DE is 0.1 meter. 0.1 meter. And pressure head in these cases, if head loss is taking place, so pressure head is calculated by total head minus datum head. So let's first calculate the total head. And so total head is the total head at the beginning of the flow minus head loss. So it is the total head at beginning minus head loss. So total head at beginning was how much? 0.6 meter. And head loss we can calculate by this formula. So as I said, point D is the midpoint of the soil sample. So Z here is, this is 0.2 meter and this part is also 0.2 meter. So Z here is 0.2 meter divided by total length of flow. So total length of flow means the length of flow through soil sample, that is H, that is 0.4 meter, and times total head. So total head was 0.6 meter. So this is 2 and this will be 0.3. So total head comes out to be 0.3 meter at point D, and so pressure head here will be 0.3 minus 0.1 meter, that is 0.2 meter. And it is also shown in the piezometer that water rises up to this point, that is 0.2 meter from here. That is the pressure head. So we can see this E point also at point E. So datum head is equal to 0 because it is at the level of datum, and pressure head is equal to, if a point, if some piezometer is inserted at point E, so water level will not rise at all, so pressure head is also 0. So the total head is equal to 0. So total head reaches 0 at this point, and below this also it will remain 0, so as we saw for F. Now let's understand the change in effective stress between no flow and downward flow and upward flow. So let's first consider no flow condition. So in this case, this is a soil sample. In this part, this is soil, and above this part is filled with water. So when no flow is taking place, it means the arrangement is such as that the valve is closed here, so water is just filled. So if no flow is taking place, that means no head loss. So if piezometer is inserted at any point, it will rise up to the surface of the water. So we can say that total head at A, total head is what? Sum of datum head plus pressure head. So datum is again this point B, level of B is taken as datum. So datum head at A is H, and pressure head is the height of water above this point, that is H1. So total head at A is H plus H1, and let's see total head at B. So total head at B, datum, So above it is at datum, so datum head is 0, and if piezometer is inserted, so it will rise up to the surface of the water. So the pressure head is H plus H1. So it means that total head is remaining same at both points, and flow takes place from higher head, that is higher total head, to lower total head, so lower head. So both heads are equal, that means no flow of water will take place. Now let's see the stresses in this case. So the total stress at A is equal to, so total stress at A, only water is there above A, so only the stress due to water will come, that is H1 gamma W. And similarly total stress at B is equal to H1 gamma W plus H times gamma saturated. And the pore water pressure, so at A pore water pressure is H1 gamma W, and at B it is equal to H1 plus H times gamma W. So from here effective stress at A is equal to 0, and effective stress at B is equal to H1 gamma W, and here H1 gamma W. So effective stress is, as we know, it is the difference of total stress and pore water pressure. So H1 gamma W will cancel out. So the remaining will be H gamma saturated minus H gamma W. So that means H times gamma saturated minus gamma W is the submerged unit weight of water. So this is the effective stress at B when no flow is taking place. Now we'll see when downward seepage is taking place, that means simply downward flow is taking place. So when downward flow is taking place, in that case total head at A is equal to, from datum head is H plus pressure head is H1, and at B, so datum head is at B it is 0, and pressure head, so the water level, as we inserted a piezometer, it rises up to here when flow was taking downwards, because head will be lost during the flow. So this much is the head loss, and so the remaining pressure head is H plus H1 minus small h. So H plus H1 means this total height, and minus H, so we'll get this height. This is our pressure head. So in this case total head at A is more than the total head at B, so the flow will be taking place, flow from A to B means downward. So let's see what all will be the stresses in this case. So sigma A is still equal to H1 gamma W, and sigma B, it is also still equal to H1 gamma W plus H gamma saturated. But let's see what is the change in effective stress. So at A, let me first write the pore water pressure. So pore water pressure at A is equal to H1 gamma W, and pore water pressure at B. So at B, the water pressure of water is the head of water. So at B, we know that this much head of water is remaining. So head of water times unit weight of water. So this is the pore water pressure at B. Now the effective stress at A is still equal to 0, and effective stress at B is equal to H gamma W will cancel out, H1 gamma W will cancel out, and H, so remaining will be H gamma saturated this is H1 gamma W plus H gamma saturated minus H gamma W minus H1 gamma W plus H gamma W. So H gamma saturated minus H gamma W plus small h gamma W. This is the remaining stress. So it is equal to gamma H common, and gamma saturated minus gamma W is gamma submerged plus H gamma W. This H gamma W can be written as gamma submerged plus, you can divide it by the total thickness of soil sample, or we can say total length of flow, times H into gamma W. So H by H is the head loss divided by length of flow, and which is equal to hydraulic gradient. So it can be written as H submerged unit weight plus IH gamma W. Now IH gamma W in this part, it is known as seepage pressure. So if we compare the no flow condition and the downward flow condition, so in no flow condition we saw that effective stress at B was H times gamma submerged, and in downward seepage condition effective stress is H times gamma submerged plus IH gamma W. That means effective stress increases when downward flow takes place. And why does it increases? It increases because of the seepage pressure. So seepage pressure means that these are, let's say these are the soil particles. So if water is flowing through these particles, so if we see the soil particles, so there is a drag force on these particles in the direction of flow, and because it means that if the flow is going downwards, so these particles are forced in the downward direction, and that means the effective stress is increasing. And that means if the flow is upward, then what will happen? Effective stress will decrease. That we'll see. So in the downward case, we can understand the effective stress increases. So how much is the increase? That increase is equal to the seepage pressure, or if we multiply it by the area, so that is equal to the seepage force. So let's first, before going further, let's see the upward flow case. So in upward flow, water is forced to go up from this valve. So in that case, what will happen? Let's write the total heads at points. So total head at A. Total head at A is equal to H1 plus H. H1 is the pressure head and H is the datum head. And at B datum head is 0 and pressure head is equal to H plus H1, and plus, because this is going above in the piezometer, so this is H. Because flow is taking place upwards, so total head at B obviously will be greater than that at A. Or if we are first measuring the piezometric head, so from that we can see that total head at B is greater than total head at A, so flow will take place in upward direction. Now let's see what is its effect on the effective stress of the soil. So again, sigma A is equal to H1 gamma W, sigma B is equal to H1 gamma W plus H gamma saturated, and pore water pressure at A is equal to H1 gamma W, and pore water pressure at B is equal to H1 plus capital H plus small h times gamma W. So effective stress at B is equal to H1 gamma W plus H gamma saturated minus H1 gamma W minus H gamma W minus small h gamma W. So from here this will cancel out, and H times gamma saturated minus gamma W is gamma submerged and minus H gamma W. So it can also be written as H gamma submerged minus I capital H gamma W. So if we compare it with the no flow case, so in no flow case sigma V is equal to H gamma submerged, and so in this case the effective stress is decreasing by this amount. So when if seepage is in upward direction, effective stress decreases.